Hello, this is Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today I have a special guest all the way from Alaska. Please welcome Lars Larson with Knik River Lodge. Welcome to our show.
Hello, how's it going?
It is going very, very well. And so I'm so excited to have you on because Alaska is a place that a lot of people want to go to. But when people think about Alaska, they often think about going there on a cruise, but there's so much to do that you don't necessarily have to go by cruise, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially in 2021 with cruise ships being blocked from going through the Canadian ports, land programs are really thriving this year. And there's a lot of opportunity to kind of see the other sort of Alaska at a budget price as well, because, we're all just trying to survive without those big tour buses. Um, so the land programs in Alaska, we have thousands of miles of highway and so much to do on all those roads. And we're luckily perched at the end of one of the paved ones. So some super accessible wilderness.
Sure. And for people that go to Alaska on a cruise, they only see such a very small portion of it. And what they really have always wanted to go see are the mountains, the glaciers, and the wildlife. And they're not likely going to see that if they only go on a cruise. So if they go by a land tour and go stay at a place like Knik River Lodge, they're going to see more of that. And your place is a very amazing place for visitors. Why don't you go ahead and share with us why that is?
Yeah, so we're a small boutique lodge. We have 22 individual cabins, socially distanced by design. Um, we also have our Ravens Perch restaurant on site here, where we serve, a taste of Alaska. We get all our produce, meat, fish, everything locally grown here in Alaska, which is kind of a different thought. I'm from the lower 48 myself. I wouldn't have thought it was possible, but we're actually an agricultural hub here. So we have a lot of fun bringing that extra experience of Alaskan dining. And also we have 3 helicopters here on site that we do flight seeing tours. So like you mentioned, the wildlife, the glaciers, the mountains, you get to see all three in about 5 seconds in a helicopter. And your trip is going to be at least an hour. So it's pretty incredible. And so we have just this really accessible, we're only 1 hour from the airport, at the end of a paved road. And gosh, it's just incredible in the Knik River Valley. You can see it behind me here. This is obviously from June, but I mean, it's just amazing. You get to see all the things that really you'd see from a cruise ship or kind of come up wanting to see from a cruise ship, but it's right here at the end of the road.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned it is at the end of the paved road, but that's really just the beginning of all the activities. So there's a lot of things people can do starting right at the lodge, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 3 hiking trails here on site. I personally cut them out of the woods, so I know them well. They're the best trails in Alaska, I swear. But yeah, we have the helicopters, and I don't know if anybody here is paying attention to the Iditarod this year, but Dallas CV just tied the record for the most wins in the Iditarod history at 5. And you can come here, walk out your front door, hop on a helicopter, and go mushing with his kennel. World champions. So it's super exciting for us that Dallas won, and we're super excited to share that experience. We just actually started with Dallas this year, so we're really excited to have him on board.
And so imagine the helicopter to go on that tour takes off right from in front of those cabins, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you can see there's the deck here on our restaurant, and literally right below the deck, there's 3 helipads. So, when folks are eating, all the kids will run outside when the big A star comes, and our pilot will come sideways in to give them a little show. And yeah, I mean, you're 100-foot walk from your helicopter ride right at your front door.
Yeah, so amazing. But we're going to talk about the lodge because you have some amazing accommodations there for everybody. And there's some things about your accommodations that are special. I know you're going to share that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are super accessible. We have, the roads going to every cabin, and they all look directly north, which is a really special treat in the late season. Right now for me, because I live here, but at our late shoulder season, August 21st, about all of our cabins look directly north at the Northern Lights, which is a huge thing. People really want to go to Fairbanks for that, but I've seen some really amazing shows in August and September, and and at a cheaper rate for guests as well. So that's really exciting. But yeah, our cabins, we're going into our 15th season. So all of our cabins are, you're not sleeping in a legacy cabin. They're all well maintained and pretty darn new. They all have private restroom, small kitchenette, a little fireplace to keep you warm, and all the amenities you'd expect from a really high class lodge. Alaska doesn't have an actual 5-star hotel here, but we do have 5-star experiences and 1,000-star skies. So
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you put that, and it's true. There aren't any 5 stars, but you have those great 5-star experiences. That's what people really, really want. At the end of the day, they're going to remember the experiences they had and that great Northern Lights experience, not so much the accommodations.
yeah, they can enjoy their beautiful pool when they visit you in Tampa.
Yes, exactly. And you did talk about those trails that you built. So I know that there are activities that are for people like me that don't do a lot of activity, but then there's also those activities for the real active people. Maybe just talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll start with the trails. We have 3 trails from property, a 3/4 mile loop trail with some tables along the way. So, super easy for all ages, abilities, everything. Um, you're never going to get lost on that one. And then we have 2 more trails, one that goes up a mountain peak. I have a friend that runs the Hiking in Alaska Facebook page, and he brings new hiking friends on that trail to test if he wants them to hike with him. So it's pretty tough. But there's a mediocre trail there as well that'll get you up to a beautiful alpine lake with the glacier view, and some kayaks up there as well. Um, and then for folks that don't want to necessarily get out in the woods, I mean, it's just an absolutely gorgeous spot to sit and read a book and just relax and forget about the world for a while. For those that want to scroll on their phone, there is 4G service here, but we suggest that you don't use it and go out and play some lawn games. We have disc golf, we have cornhole, we have um, all types of outdoor fun, just to grab a beer from the restaurant and go sit on, you can see the lawn here, and play some giant Jenga, or just relax. And it's just a really great place to just soak it in.
Yeah. Nothing else. Watch the helicopters come in.
It's always, I get excited. I've been here for 3 years. I've been on them 100 times and I still get excited every time they land.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Do you have a favorite time of year for the Northern Lights or maybe to see wildlife?
Yeah, so the shoulder seasons are actually really good. Early shoulder, which would be about May, early June. Really good to see the spring bloom, everything coming to life. You'll go to sleep one night and the next morning everything's green, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's incredible. But we don't see northern lights at the start of the season, just because of the midnight sun. So the midnight sun is actually an incredible part, because you have all day. The sun's out all day. We get about 20 to 22 hours of daylight in the middle of June. Um, and tour operators, you can go get a tee time at 9 o'clock p.m. and you will not be in the dark at the end of your 4-hour golf game. So that's a really incredible. But for the Northern Lights would be the end of the season, starting mid-August. And then just for that next month, it's just absolutely gorgeous. We don't have any light pollution where we're at. So you see a million stars, you see those Milky Way pictures, and it's literally out your window. And if you're lucky enough, the Northern Lights will come out, and that's just a really incredible experience as well.
Yeah, I know it's got to be. And so, what would you say for somebody? How many nights minimum should they come and stay?
Yeah, so we suggest 2 nights. Being where we are, we're so accessible to Anchorage, and folks do, I mean, I personally don't travel this way, but a lot of people do want to see the city. I would super suggest not staying in the city, just because, you don't have to. You're in Alaska. But we are only an hour away. You can go do those city tours, go do everything. Um, and also, I mean, in the Palmer area, there's thousands of miles of trails. There's farmers markets. There's a muskox farm you can go visit. You can go pet a reindeer. You can go pet a moose at a farm. I mentioned the agricultural community is big here. But then, we're only an hour and a half drive from Matanuska Glacier. If you didn't want to hop on a helicopter, you can drive right up to the face of the glacier. Hatcher Pass, you can go visit a historic mine. You can go climb a mountain. You're only walking 100 yards, you're on top of the mountain. It's pretty incredible. So, I mean, there's just such a plethora of things to do in the area. And we're at the edge of the wilderness here. So you get to unwind at the end of the day. You can drive around. Definitely suggested to rent a car, and you can drive 20-30 minutes and get this incredible once in a lifetime experience right there. Go into Palmer for some fine dining, come back and stay with us and have the nice dark sky and really the Alaskan experience. Have a moose walk past your cabin when you wake up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard you
definitely
say
suggested.
something. I heard you say something another time about using Knik River Lodge as the base camp for your adventures in Alaska. And I love that because there's so much to do that's within a half-hour drive or even an hour drive. But most people are going to want to go and see something else. And is there one other area that you would just say once people have explored the Palmer area and the Matsu Valley, what one other area would you really recommend they go and see while in Alaska?
Yeah, so a trip itinerary that would take you up to us, going down the Seward Highway and down to the Kenai Peninsula is almost its own trip. That's quite a commitment. So I definitely say going north to Denali, going and experiencing all the dog mushing and willow on the way. Talkeetna is a gorgeous little town. You'll be mingling with the locals and you have to go for some molasses cookies at the Talkeetna Roadhouse. And then, the Denali area, there's just the same as here. It's a plethora of activities. They're doing rafting, they're doing helicopters, they're doing airplanes. You can fly up and land on Denali on Ruth Glacier, an hour from your room. So yeah, I would definitely say that we're a great gateway to Denali. It's only a 4-hour drive from us here.
Sure. And you've mentioned it a couple times. We've talked about the fact that there is an agricultural valley, but we've talked a little bit about those culinary experiences, not only in Denali and on the way up, but right there at your own lodge at the Ravens Perch restaurant. And so I wanted you to let us know how the restaurant got its name and talk about some of the best things that are on the menu. I heard something about a coffee crusted steak.
Yeah. So the Ravens Perch got its name. The former owner of the lodge, he was from Holland, and his favorite animal in the world is a raven. So ravens are very sacred in Alaska Native culture. So you'll see a lot of things named ravens. I think there's a Raven's Nest restaurant just close to us, but not quite. And so, yeah, the Raven's Perch, it's a really significant animal in our Native culture. So that's really where it got the name. And yeah, so we serve a full farm to table restaurant menu. We're coming up with fresh specials. We do live music in there. And our most popular dish is definitely that coffee crusted ribeye. We have people that we didn't serve it last year with COVID just because, with the way things were, it was hard to buy full ribeyes and watch them go bad. But everybody was like, man, 2021, you better bring that steak back. So it's a local favorite. People come out just for the steak. And another popular dish, we do a loaded macaroni and cheese. Best mac and cheese in the state. So I serve as the chef, so I'm a little biased, but I'm also the head chef of the restaurant as well as the general manager here. So yeah, we have a lot of fun, and I'm lucky to hire my culinary friends, and so we've all cooked in kitchens for years together, which brings a lot of creativity and fun to the restaurant. It's just a really great environment, and we try to make it feel like you're part of that experience. We want the feedback. We want people to say, hey, why aren't you doing this? We got so much flack over not having the steak. We're bringing it back. So
Well, I'm going to hold you to that because I'm going to come someday and I'm going to want that steak and now that
hey,
mac and cheese. So
yeah, absolutely.
that's my killer dish. So this is my final question for the day. What would you say to any listeners that we have with us today and they are thinking now, wow, I should go to Alaska? What would you say to them?
Oh gosh, yeah. We're fully open. We're ready to go. We're so ready to have everybody here, especially in 2021. It's a really great opportunity. You won't see the tour buses everywhere. We're missing out on a huge foreign market this year, still with travel restrictions. So you kind of have the place to yourself. We're smaller staffs this year, but everything's more personalized. You get on a Jeep tour and there's not another family with you. It's your own Jeep, it's your own tour. And that's a lot of the experiences this year. And you'll always find personalized experiences in Alaska, but it's a really great time to travel here. we're already 35% vaccinated here in the state. I have my Batman Band-Aid. I got my first shot yesterday. And so you'll see a lot of just normal life going on. You know, we're open. We've had a great response to the pandemic, and it's been really refreshing to just see everybody in Alaska taking it seriously and just super ready to welcome guests again and taking the correct steps. And you know, we're 35% vaccinated. If you're 16 or above, you can get one. And so everybody's getting them. We're so ready to have people here. You know, and the lack of the cruise ships and the lack of the foreign travelers really makes it a great year to come and just get a real Alaskan experience. You'll be sitting in these restaurants with the locals that don't usually come out, but they know that nobody's here. So they're all out and they'll tell you funny stories about, you know, running moose out of their house and all types of stuff. So
Oh, well,
it's a lot of fun.
That's all part of the experience. So my name is Rick Saltarelli. I'm with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners. You've been listening to this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door, and we've been so honored to have Lars Larson with the Knik River Lodge. He is the general manager and the executive chef at the lodge, talking about the experiences that you can have: majestic mountains, beautiful glaciers, wildlife, an amazing culinary experience. Put Alaska on your calendar. The best time to travel is between mid-May and mid-September. And it all starts with giving us a call, 888-332-8202. Thank you very much for being with us today, Lars.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Okay, we look forward to seeing you.
All righty, have a great day.
Thank you.